Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the desperate need for Ruger to give us an SFAR Gen 2. Okay, so for those of you that have been watching my channel, about a month ago, I bought this Palmetto AR-10. That's the PA-10 Gen 3, and I have been loving this rifle. I've been doing a lot of shooting, making lots of videos. But I have also been watching other people's videos on their AR-10s, okay? And I've been following, right, the Ruger SFAR, okay? So the great thing about the SFAR, it is a very lightweight AR-10. This AR-10 over here from Palmetto, without any optics on it, weighs 9 pounds 1 ounce, okay? So with the optics, this thing's up to 10 pounds. If I put a bigger scope on this, this thing's going to go up to 11 pounds, okay? So this is a very heavy gun. Now, mind you, this has the 20-inch barrel, okay? I mean, I could have got the 18, I could have got the 16. I chose the 20-inch. I would be very interested in buying a Ruger SFAR, okay, with a 16-inch barrel, which would be the almost the same weight as a 16-inch AR-15, if Ruger would fix the reliability problems. Okay, so there's lots of reliability problems with the SFAR. Again, this information has been gathered from watching other people's videos that own it and have been shooting it. And I'm basically just trying to do a summary video here. That here's the thing: the more we talk about it, the more we get this information out there, and you know, the more Ruger is going to see it. They're going to be like, okay, crap, they're making videos all over the place about this SFAR. I guess we better come up with a Gen 2, right? So that's the reason why I'm doing this video. I'm not doing this video to hate on Ruger. I'm doing this video to add additional motivation to Ruger to fix the problem and come up with a Gen 2, okay? And they got to do the Gen 2 because chances are that's not going to be perfect either. Eventually, they're going to need to do a Gen 3, just like Palmetto did, right? So this is the Gen 3. So the Gen 1 that came out had some problems. They addressed most of them in the Gen 2. And then in the Gen 3, they finally got the gun perfect. So Ruger's going to have to go through the same steps. They got to come up with the Gen 2 as fast as possible. There'll probably be a few bugs there, debug it, and then come up with a Gen 3 down the road, okay? So in this video, what I want to do is I want to summarize all the problems I have heard of people talking about with their Ruger SFAR. So the number one problem with the Ruger SFAR is the gas valve. Okay, the gas valve. It comes with a 3-position adjustable gas valve, or regulator as they call it, and then they've put out an updated version of, I think it's a 4-position. You can call them up and they'll ship it out to your house. 4 positions is not enough. 5 positions is not enough. 10 positions is not enough. They need 20 positions. Okay. So here's the thing. This Palmetto AR-10. This has 3 positions per turn of the gas valve for a total of 17 positions. Okay. So I think Ruger can do better than that. They need to give us 20 positions. Now my Palmetto AR-10 came set to the 12th position, and what I did is I tuned it by basically turning it clockwise all the way down to completely close it, and then I would load 1 round at a time in the magazine, and I kept firing 1 shot, okay, opening up the gas valve until I got to the point that it would lock back reliably on the last round. Okay, so it started locking back in position 3, and I went up to 4. With 4, I think maybe it failed to lock back maybe once. I went up to 5, and now it locks back 100% of the time with like almost any ammunition. Okay, so when I shoot Tula, okay, at Tula steel case, I eject to 4 o'clock and lock back. When I shoot Freedom munitions, it ejects at about 2 o'clock and locks back. Okay, so that's how you tune your gas system. So 3 positions, 4 positions that Ruger has, not enough. They gotta do better. Okay, so that's the first thing they gotta do. Okay, next thing they gotta do is they got to fix their gas key, because their gas key. Now this is the backup bolt that I bought for my Palmetto AR-10. Okay, so the gas key that they have, right? If you notice over here, there's 2 screws that are staked. Okay, well, the Ruger SFAR only has 1. Okay, and I guess they did it to shorten the bolt up, right? That's part of how they lightened the gun up and made it smaller. That's not an area that they can skimp on. Okay, they got to find other places to save weight and size. If an AR-15 needs 2 screws here staked, you better believe an AR-10 needs 2 screws there holding the gas key in place. Okay, so that's not something they can compromise on. So they got to fix their gas key. It's got to have two screws at minimum. I mean, you might argue that an AR-10 needs 3. I think they can probably get away with 2 since Palmetto's doing it. But there's no compromise. They can't go down to 1. Okay, that's just not going to work. People have reported the gas keys coming loose. Okay. Next thing I've heard of. Okay, the rail. Okay, because the Ruger SFAR has a skinny rail similar to this. People have reported that the rail is hitting the gas block. Okay, not all the time, sometimes on some of them. Like, these are all sometimes problems. Okay, this rail here is hitting the gas block in there, and that's going to affect that. That can decrease your accuracy at distance. Okay, that's a minor thing. Whatever they got to do in that area, I mean, they can just cut it out, right? If this is what a gas block is, I mean, they could just cut this thing out, right? Wherever it seems to be coming close to it, and prevent these 2 things from hitting each other. Okay, so they got to fix their gas rail. They got to fix their rail. All right. Next thing they got to do is they got to fix their price, man, because I got this one here, right? This extremely reliable Palmetto AR-10 I got for $700. Okay, the way I got this is I'm able to order the lower separate. So that was $200, right? That ships to the FFL. And then the upper shipped straight to my house. That was $500. Total gun, $700. Part of the cost savings here is that the manufacturer only pays a firearms tax on the lower, right? When they ship the whole thing together, they pay a firearms tax on the whole thing. So that will go a long way towards, just offering the option to ship the 2 separate. And I know Ruger doesn't direct sell, but they can have somebody else sell it for them. Sell the 2 separate. But overall, I mean, I think the price is too high. The Ruger MPR, right, in 5.56, is my favorite AR-15. It's the one. It's a cold hammer forged barrel, 2-stage trigger, 18-inch barrel, right? That's the AR-15 that I have that gets the half-inch groups the most often, okay? I bought that for $640 back when the standard price of, your budget AR-15s was $500. The standard price of budget AR-15s now in December 2023 is still $500, right? So I think that Ruger MPRs, I've seen them as high as $800-900. So it kind of depends on what's going on. But there's times that for a long time it was at $600. And lots of people have reported buying the Ruger MPR for $500. Okay, so if Ruger can sell their MPR, right, with the cold hammer forged barrel, 2-stage trigger, they can sell that for, let's say, an average $600. They can sell this for $700-800, right? Ruger can sell an AR-10 for $700 to $800. They don't need to be selling it for the $1,200. I've seen it as high as $1,300. So the Ruger SFAR, way overpriced. They need to fix it, and it's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass. Palmetto does it, okay, and they give us a more reliable rifle. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Ruger here. I want the Ruger SFAR to be successful, okay? So I'm putting out the information that they need in order to fix this, okay? And the more people buy the guns, like part of the reason why Palmetto is up to Generation 3 and was able to debug it is because of the high volume that they sell, right? And why do they sell high volume? Because they're low price. So the more you sell, the more money you have to make better guns, okay? So Ruger needs to fix their price. Next thing I would like is, I'd like a different color, okay? I have way too many black rifles, okay? Give me FDE. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to kind of mimic or clone an M110. I just think that the FTE is a great color. It is true that out here in the summertime it gets really hot. A lot of times I have the guns out on the table. They will definitely cool down faster if they are FDE colored versus black, which seems to soak up all the sun. So yeah, I would like to get a Ruger SFAR Gen 2 in an FDE color. Okay, I mean, I don't think I'm asking too much, right? Number 6, I think I already mentioned it. Sell the uppers and the lowers separate. Okay, now I know Ruger doesn't direct sell, but like Palmetto actually sells Ruger SFARs. Like yesterday, I went on Palmetto's website. They sell SFARs. Palmetto sells uppers and lowers separate. What Ruger simply needs to do is sell the uppers and lowers separate to Palmetto, and let Palmetto sell it for them. Okay, since that's what they're doing now anyway. But they need to separate the two. Okay, that's important. Now, next thing, and this might be part of the reason why they're not selling uppers and lowers separate. Okay, one of the things that they need to do is they need to sell the bolts separate. Okay, and the reason is because the bolts are very proprietary, right? AR-10s are not standardized, so the SFAR takes a different size bolt than this Palmetto PA-10. From a different company, the bolts are going to be different sizes. I think one of the issues that Ruger has is they don't sell extra bolts because their bolts need to be headspace to their guns, to their SFARs, because they're not standardized. Okay, so they have to headspace every single one of their bolts, from what I heard. Because the way I noticed is because somebody had, when they broke the gas key broke, they wouldn't just send out a replacement bolt, right? They had that person send in the entire rifle so that they could properly headspace it. So there's an engineering and design problem there. They need to, in their Gen 2, they need to redesign this so that they can just drop any one of their bolts into their AR-10 without needing to headspace every single one. The same thing like with AR-15s, or the way Palmetto designed their AR-10, right? I was able to go to their website for $149. I bought a backup bolt that's basically going in the drawer, which is really important because down the road, like, AR-10s are an evolving technology. So down the road, what may happen is at some point they might move up to a different generation, right? Or they may discontinue this. At some point down the road, it might not be so easy to get a bolt for the AR-10. Okay, now the trigger in here, the buffer, a lot of the parts are AR-15. Okay, and I think with the Ruger SFAR, even more parts are AR-15 compatible, like the charging handle, for example. Okay, so all those other parts you got access to, but the bolt, which is like 100% proprietary, you cannot go anywhere else to buy the bolt. Okay, and I don't know what size extractor they have in it, what size gas rings they have in it, the ejector, all that. So you need to be able to buy backup bolts for your Ruger SFAR, just like I have backup bolts, a backup bolt here ready to go, and I'll probably get more down the road for my Palmetto AR-10. Okay, so that's important. That's like critical. So this is a good starting point for Ruger in order to fix their SFAR. We need a Gen 2. Okay, I want to buy an SFAR. Okay, I'm just not buying the Gen 1. Okay, because that's just like a waste of money. Okay, I want to buy an SFAR Gen 2. They got to fix the gas valve, give us at least 20 positions, change the gas key so that it takes 2 screws that are staked. I mean, if you have to lengthen the rifle a little bit, make it a little bit heavy, this is not the place where you want to save weight and size. Okay, make the bolt so it takes 2 screws. Okay, fix the rail so it's not hitting the gas block. Price. Okay, the price needs to come down $800 and below. Okay, just like with the Ruger MPR. I mean, they've done it. I mean, I bought mine at $640. Other people's have bought theirs in the mid or low 500s. It's doable. Fix the price so that it matches the Palmetto AR-10, okay? And that's a good place for them to look at. Palmetto sells lots of AR-10s. You know, see what they're doing, follow that lead, okay? I mean, if it works, you know, it's obviously working for them, okay? Color, give us a nice FDE color, okay? Sell the lowers and uppers separate. They'll save on the taxes. It's also kind of like, here's the honest truth, let me tell you guys. I had no intention of buying an AR-10 this year, okay? I had it in the back of my mind. So what I did is, on Black Friday weekend, I saw that Palmetto was running, you know, holiday sale, and they had the lower, just the lower by itself, for $200, free shipping to UFFL. So I said, yeah, it's only $200. Let me just get the lower, and then down the road at some other point, I'll get the upper, okay? So I ordered the lower. What do you think I had? Within 3 days, I had ordered the upper, right? This 20-inch upper, and it was on my way to my house, okay? So selling the lowers and the upper separate. The lower is kind of like a gateway drug, man. You know, sell the lower by itself, and soon enough, people will come back and they'll buy the upper, okay? So yeah, they gotta do that. That's a big thing. They gotta change. They gotta update their business model, okay? And again, sell the bolts and the bolt parts separate, okay? It may require some change in the design, so that each and every bolt does not need to be head spaced in the gun. You know, they can just, you know, send them out and know that they will fit in there, just like when you buy AR-15 bolts, just like when I buy these Palmetto AR-10 bolts. I mean, there's no, you know, it's just gonna fit. I mean, there's no question about that. So this is what I would like. I would love to buy an SFAR Gen 2. I would love for Ruger to make it, okay? Drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm not here hating on Ruger. Okay? I want Ruger to succeed. Okay. One of the interesting comments that I heard on one of the channels I was watching on there was 3 SFAR gurus. Okay, these guys all had SFARs, all shoot them all the time, all complaining about the problems with the SFAR. And one of the guys was actually an engineer. He had an engineering background. I believe the channel was called The Turkey's Opinion. It's a 2-hour video, okay? But it's worth watching. You guys should look it up. So the way the engineer explained it is that the Ruger SFAR was designed to certain specifications that it is extremely difficult to you know, to follow in a high production operation. Okay, so the tolerances are so tight that, yeah, you can do a prototype, you can do a small batch of them, right, and they'll all fit and work perfectly, right? But when you're trying to produce thousands of them, it's really hard to follow those specifications, which is why I think with the SFAR, they got the right idea, but they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out and engineer this from the ground up so that they can mass produce it and the parts are going to fit and work well together. Okay? The other thing I would like is perhaps I would like maybe Palmetto to give us a Gen 4 and start working on making us a lighter AR-10. That's the other possibility. One of the great things I love about you know, having different manufacturers, you know, getting them to compete against each other. So I'm sure that Palmetto is looking at the Ruger SFAR and seeing that, yeah, there's a lot of interest out there for these light AR-10s, right? And again, that's part of the reason why I'm making this video. Palmetto's looking at you know, videos like this and like, wow, there seems to be a lot of interest out there for these light AR-10s. Maybe we should start thinking about making one. Okay, so you know, let them race against each other. So thanks for watching. Drop some comments below. Talk to you all soon.